Trying to learn a little more about vibration. We've got a couple of trainers here that can simulate some failed motors, including some bearing issues. And I'm looking here and something's not quite right. See how clunky that is? I don't feel it should be that clunky. Now, if I go ahead and run the machine, you'll get dizzy for a second probably. And I know it's not my trend, because yeah, I see this is kind of jumpy, but this is a periodic task. Actually, it looks a little tight. I need to figure out what's going on there. I think I had a student playing with it. But I can understand the choppiness here because it's a periodic task. But these tags right here are in a continuous task up there, so they should be way smoother than that. Here's another one of those times I absolutely love Turk's web interface because this vibration sensor is coming over IO link. And so I haven't really done anything except for web search for the IODD file. And now I want to try to figure out if there's anything in here about a time base. Probably could read the instruction manual. Okay, well, those are at 0. Yeah, I'm looking for something. In fact, the variation is right at 240 milliseconds. Oh, well, look right there. 250 milliseconds sure seems really close. Vibration, advanced config, time window. Huh. Well, I'm going to drop that back. Yeah, we got very fast. Okay, and my RPI of this IO link is 20 milliseconds, so I can't get any faster than that anyway. And so when I hit the right button on this, didn't like that. Okay, if I'm understanding correctly, then this bandwidth down here is the issue. So I drop it to, what was that, 20 milliseconds? Then my lower bandwidth is too high. So we take our calculator and we take 1,000 divided by 20. Well, that certainly didn't work, because that would put it below the 10 milliseconds. So I think I need to drop this hertz down. If I was really good, I would know exactly what to drop it to, but I don't, so I'm going to be impatient. I'm just going to change that to a 1. And now I got to remember where the world that other thing was. Oh, it's like right above it. Change that to a 20. Must be greater than 2. Okay, well, there you go. We'll make it 2. Then, can't hit the right button. Oh, got to hit the tab. Now I can hit the right button. Darn it. All you fancy math whiz probably figured out I had my numerator and denominator backwards. I needed to increase the number, not decrease the number. And more importantly, we can get here right before it. Now we got a little bit finer resolution. So now it'd be great if this thing wouldn't zoom across the screen. So I'm going to use this run tag to set up some triggers on my trend. So now I'm going to right click the black area and go to chart properties. And I forget this every time. And why cut it out of the video? I am going to go to the start trigger, and I cannot uncheck the start trigger button, because before you can do that, you have to stop the trend. Then I can right click, chart properties, start trigger. Now I can uncheck that button. I can hit my run. I can hit exactly equal to. We're going to be exactly equal to 1. And then I'm going to go for a stop trigger. Uncheck that one as well. And we're going to select that same run, exactly equal to 0. And then I want some samples of this. And I don't know. I don't even know what I want yet. All right, now I have it at 5. Apparently I've done this at some point during all this experimenting. We'll make it 10 now. And be really careful, it's not infinite. Check your memory size. And then, in a nice gray on gray, and here's a perfect example. Everything looks flatlined. You'll never realize it until you try it. you got to come back up here and hit that run button. So I'm going to hit the run button. And here's a good examples where you've got to pay attention to this button, because even now it's not going to look like it's running because it's waiting on that trigger now before it will actually do anything. So hopefully without you getting dizzy, I'm going to reach down here and hit the run bar. And yeah. Okay, so now our data, yeah, we got a little more granularity. Is that the fancy word for it? We got a lot more small little spiky things in our data. And yeah, so when it stops, now we have a nice snapshot. So here's my motor speed, and there is the vibration. So yeah, let's see what we can play with now. So now this should be a bad bearing. So I'm gonna reach down and hit my run buttons. And it's got a little bit of a rattle to it. I mean, it's nothing insane. I would call the motor just having a bad day, but it's the beginning of an issue. So the next question really is, how do you set vibration limits based on this mild amount? We see that it's a little bit noisier, but how do you, before the motor goes bad, how do you determine the good and the bad? You can see I've got a little peak there, you got a little peak there. Of course, totally by accident, I made my own variable here because the air compressor kicks on. So I'm gonna top the relief off just to get it started. Well, try again. And now I'll hit the run buttons. Oops, I left it on the screen capture. You can't see it live. Let me go over here. Sorry, you'll see it by the time I get here. It ought to be about done with that trend anyway. Well, there you go. So, because the air compressor happened to be running at the same time, one, they gave it a whole different harmonic. But yeah, the next question is, how do you block out those external factors? Which in this case, one thing that probably the run signal would have been a good one, because some of that noise was down here. Now the goal in this experiment, and I'm getting to wonder, even here is, what is the difference between vibration analysis and audible analysis? Because I hear both, but the goal is to, how do we detect it before a catastrophic failure? So I believe this one will be a catastrophic failure. Hit the buttons. Oh yeah, that sounds bad, probably even on your mic. And that's what we don't want to get to. It looks pretty though. But yeah, so really, this one's the good. This one is going bad. Now this one is actually that same going bad, but you can see the air compressor is going to mask everything we were thinking there. And yeah, that would be screaming angry bearing. So yeah, what do y'all make of that? How would you set up something for it?